apparently we are live. That's kind of neat. Never did the whole YouTube live thing, really. I'll give it a couple of moments here, just let everyone come in, or at least a few people. I know it's during the day. I will, of course, repost this because it's important. Hey, I think this turned out really good. I really do. I like that box. I might still do some workaround stuff. We'll see though. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, and welcome to a unique Groove Builders live stream. I just wanted to come out and say thank you to everyone who went online and pre-ordered my Bender 1.0 tool. This is what you'll be seeing going to your home right now. They actually all sent out yesterday, and this is the box. I completely designed everything when it came to this project, and I mean, I learned a lot about like designing and kind of making a product, like learning the whole process of that. There was a big learning curve in this, guys. For instance, I had to not only get my 3D printer working, Matilda, working to a point that I was happy with the results that were coming out, but I also had to do the research on the models themselves to be able to get the tool to do what I wanted it to do. So in this case here with the Bender, I used a lot of different prototypes to come up with the one that I came ultimately in the end here. It's inside this box. And one thing I also found out was springs. Springs are near impossible to find when it comes to making your own project. You can buy generic springs, and if you buy a spring first and then design the project around that spring, that's great. But in this case here, I designed the project and didn't design the spring. So what I had to do is completely do that too. So when you're purchasing one of these benders that's inside of this box here, you're not just purchasing something that's just like generically made. You're actually purchasing something that I've like literally made completely by hand. And even the box, like I designed the box and went through that. And so again, I really just want to say thank you to everyone out there who purchased this Bender, because this is something that, again, that's been completely, I know that there's bending tools out there that exist, but this is something, again, that was something that I put a lot of work in myself. And to have people out there have faith in me and to have faith and put their money on the line for it, I just, that's a really cool thing. And I really, really want to say thank you. And I didn't get a chance to say, to write a thank you letter to everyone that purchased one of these. And I really did want to say like thank you in person and write a letter to everyone. Because again, like it's a big jump. It's a big jump to trust somebody. And anyway, again, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and open this up so you guys can kind of see what's inside. I know that you guys already know what the tool is, but so when you open this up, we're gonna take this little sticker here. The one thing I will say is the sticker is the only thing that I actually didn't I didn't make myself. Actually, these were kind of contracted out and it came back and they were all off center. They ended up giving to me for free, but if you look at them and you're like, hey, it's a little off center, yes, they are. And I just don't want to throw them in the garbage. It seems wasteful. Anyway, so that's why they're actually used on the back as well to kind of, help out with the box. Anyway, so you open it up and boom, look at that beautiful thing right there. Isn't that neat? There's the tool. And this is actually right out of stock, so I'm confident with every single one of these and the quality. I tested every one of them to make sure that when they were going to you, that they were going to work. That's the most important thing for me, is that obviously you're buying a tool, you want it to work. It's a very important thing. And it seems like some of these other things that people do and kind of like the pre-sale or pre-order, they don't always work when you get them. Anyway, so back to the tool here. As you can see, it is 100% ready to go out of the box. Now, when I originally made my video on this tool, I was kind of showing you how I made this because I thought it was important to show you the design and show that I did it myself. That was the reason why for that is because there was a Squirtle video that I made, and that Squirtle video became a big issue behind the scenes of the show, and it involved the file being taken down. So I thought to myself that if I was to do something else like this again, that I would want to make sure that every part of this design is 100% mine, so no one can claim any piece of it. And that's what I did here. And that's why I'm so emphasizing that this is 100% mine, because no one can go on there and try to take this off of any kind of online area. This is ours. So when it came to designing this, the one thing that was really important, I found in other tools, is that the parts, when you would go and place them in, to be able to make the bends that you're trying to do, would get scratched. And the reason for that is because of the harsh metal that's used on the top and on the bottom. In this case here, when it comes for 3D metal models, what I've done is I put a really nice soft pad here on the bottom, which is going to guard against any kind of scratching there. And then also, when it came to designing the cheese wedge here, I made sure to use a very special plate for the 3D printing that allowed for a very smooth surface on the bottom of the cheese wedge. And if you take yours apart, first of all, there's that little handmade spring there that I made. I got pretty good at them. If your spring, for whatever reason, doesn't work or fails for whatever reason, let me know. I will get that working for you, and I'll send you a new one, worst to worst, and no charge to you, obviously. So anyway, there's that little spring. Yay. So this right here, the surface on the bottom of this is so smooth, and that's because of the bed that I used. And if you look at the bottom of the piece here, you'll notice there's actually a different bottom here that's a textured surface. And that's just to help with, like, generic holding and also having it on a surface on the ground. But also the handle here also has that as well. More for aesthetics, but also, again, just for a little bit more grip. So that's the important part of the different pieces of this tool, and kind of giving you the understanding of why what the intent is behind it. So now I want to discuss a little bit something more, which was another comment that I saw people make, which was they didn't understand exactly what each piece of this cheese wedge was designed to do and how the tool was actually meant to work. Yeah, that's a good criticism of that last video I made on this. I didn't really go into too much about showing about how it was supposed to be made, because I was going to use this in the future and also do a whole video on the different tools that I use, and I was going to use this one in that video and show an in-depth use of it. But for this live stream, let's talk about this real quickly. If you were to take a piece of metal, let's say from one of our kits, do I want to open one right now? I know I've been wanting to do an architectural build for a little while, and I'm tempted, but I don't have my other stuff set up to be able to do that, so it's probably not a good idea at the moment. But anyway, what we would do typically is we would take apart. You'll see this here. When you loosen this, the cheese wedge here is going to pop up just a little bit. That allows you to be able to put that part between the cheese wedge and the bottom. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put that piece right over to where the bending line is on the part that you're bending. We're going to then lower that down and tighten this up. What that's going to do is going to grab that piece at that little location that you've secured it at, and that will allow you to bend the part to the desired location. Which is kind of interesting about this is if you're bending a cylinder, for instance, you can use, or like a pillar or one of these things like this, you can use one of these cutouts here to place the pillar in there so you can do the different detailed bends. And because this moves around in this complete circle, you can use whichever part of the board here, because the parts are different sizes. And one thing I found is that when I was researching for this tool, I found that depending on how big the tool was, when it came to actually bending and shaping the different pieces, sometimes those parts would get caught up on the tool itself, which would kind of make this tool ineffective. And that's actually why I made this big cut here, was because I found that when I was bending different pieces, like I got part of the cockpit actually, I haven't made this video yet, posted it yet, but I'll show you this quickly, this model here. This Raider helicopter was a really cool build, guys. Like, this was a lot of fun to do. I'm not gonna lie, this was cool. And I find myself finding myself more intrigued by these aviation models. I haven't really done a whole lot of them again, but these ones are cool. But when I was bending this cockpit here, using this tool here, I found that this tool was getting in the way. So by making that little cut, that allowed me to get these pieces that are more folded on each other to bend successfully, get them properly shaped. Now, I hope I've done a decent job of explaining that. It's the only problem with the live stream. I can't go in and like edit the way I've worded things. It's not always the best. Let me take a little bit of a coffee drink here. I see everyone kind of popping in and out. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody. I love everyone out there. Oh, Nespresso almond coffee. Good stuff. So going back to this tool, if you've purchased this tool and you're one of the people that have gone and done the pre-order, again, thank you so much for doing that. But also I want to let you know that I'm going to be releasing different tools in the future. One thing that people keep asking me for is these, my doming set over here, my dapping set, these guys right here. Everyone, I mean it. It's probably the number one comment I get on a lot of my videos and also in messages is people asking me where I got these. One thing to keep in mind is that I've been building models for a while now, and I got these right when I first started building. And what was really cool is that they were pretty cheap. I mean, it was like $15 on Amazon, and they're awesome. The problem is the company went bankrupt shortly after I bought these, and since then I haven't been able to get them pretty much anywhere. If you have a lathe, you can totally make these at home. I mean, they're really not that challenging to make on a lathe. And unfortunately, I don't run a lathe. I don't know how to run a lathe. Never put that effort into learning that just yet. But my plan is I want to do a video on casting. And my idea would be then to cast these right here and then make replication of these tools and then hopefully sell them to you guys at hopefully a good price. I want to be very honest about this. I'm not trying to make, I'm not trying to make a big amount of money on this. It's just not my goal. I really want to spread this hobby more and create things that are kind of there to help people. Why I designed this is not just to be able to get the different parts of the shape you need. There's people out there that have a really hard time bending these models, not just because of their difficulty, but because they have different physical disabilities. One of my good friends, and I'm gonna keep it private here, but one of my good friends has a very rare DNA disorder, and he can't build these models because he doesn't have the ability in his fingers to be able to do this. So what I do is, or what I was trying to think is, if people that have like arthritis or people that are older that want to build these things, if they think they can't do it, if I can design a tool that will make it easier for them to be able to make these things, then they're not only going to be able to enjoy this stuff, but they're also going to be able to take part in it. I guess I hope I came out right. They'll be able to enjoy it just like we are. And so this tool allows you to have a bigger area to bend things on smaller parts. And that's kind of the idea behind it. So this right here is another example of a tool that I want to replicate, but the problem with this tool is that people with disabilities or arthritis or anything like that, they're still going to have a hard time using these because you're still using the same kind of basis to do the tools. So my thought process going forward when it comes to making tools for 3D metal models is I really want to kind of do something that will or create a tool that will kind of have these people in mind, or have it in a way that will be able to at least create smaller pieces like some of the smaller cylinders that we have. What I want to do is create a tool that would be able to make that incredibly easy. And I've already found some really exciting ways to be able to get cylinders, and I'm really excited to share those with you, but I have to have a working prototype before I do that, because one thing I've learned about the Bender release here is that not only is it important to create a tool that's useful, but it's also important to create a campaign to inform people so that they're not confused when they're looking at the product. That's one thing I think I really did wrong with that video, is that I assumed that everyone would know what this was used for, and I focused more on the creation of it than actually showing you how to use it. So I think that pretty much brings us to the end of this live stream. I really just wanted to, again, say thank you to everyone out there, and this being a giant thank you note to everyone who invested in these. I think I briefly mentioned this, but just in case I didn't, because I tend to ramble. Anyone who purchased this as a pre-order, I'm not going to forget that you did this. Again, it's a huge deal to me. So what I'm going to do is that when we release, or when I release another version of this cheese wedge, I'm going to email those or be able to give those to you guys at a very big discount, just to say thank you to, of course, believing in me. And of course, if you ever have any problems with this at all, those pre-orders, if you ever have an issue, and people going forward, just let me know. Email me, text me on the old Instagram. Do what you got to do in that regard, and I will do my best to make sure that you get a working tool. Because again, it's really important to me that these do their job, and ultimately you get to build your project. All right, everyone. Until next time, keep building. Now, how do I get this awkward moment of us staring at each other while I figure out the live stream buttons? GB1's been really weird lately, so I haven't had the opportunity to get this done.